Time's flying by halfway through the year. This is our typical What's New in Speak, June 2024 edition. Got some good stuff to go through. This one should be shorter than some of our previous ones. Some great changes, but maybe not as big, crazy high-level concepts that we need to go through and explain. If you don't know who I am, quick reminder, Tyler Bryden. I am the CEO and co-founder of Speak AI. We've been working on this since 2019. 150,000 people have come through the platform, 4.9 rating on G2. And as this sort of industry continues to grow, continues to evolve, we continue to evolve with it. Some great additions to the platform, some of which we'll cover today. So you want to do a quick introduction here, and then we'll jump into the presentation?
Hello, this is Vatsal, co-founder and CTO at Speak. I think Tyler mentioned this is not a month of conceptual change on the platform for last month, but it's going to be more around the optimizations, improving the UI UX performance for the user. Let's dive in.
Perfect. Okay, so we saw some logos flash up on the screen. I was trying to hide that. I didn't hide it very well. Top teams using Speak. We continue to see more teams on board. And I think a few compelling reasons. One of the things we've continued, and we'll touch on this a bit, is more and more languages being added to Speak. And we're seeing a lot of platforms or companies be working in different languages, sometimes needing to analyze those, translate them. So we're seeing continued adoption there. I think Speak's continued multimodal capabilities within the platform are really driving some value where you can blend audio, video, and text together and do some pretty impressive analysis. And I think the last part is there's a lot of systems right now, maybe they got some AI in the back end, you upload your data and it disappears into a black box. And so one of the things we've seen a lot of these teams really is upload an audio or video file. I can see the transcript. I can edit that transcript. I can make those changes. I can update that into the engine, and I can continue to query and analyze that. So you can't just upload all your data, have it disappear, and all these challenges with hallucinations and all these things of maybe not exactly knowing of how you got the answer. These are big problems that bigger customers, more legitimate teams are struggling with, and we're really working to help here at Speak. That's any other trends that you're seeing that you want to go over before we jump into some of the actual releases on the month?
Maybe two things. Another piece, when you go at scale, the issue arises is how to organize your data, how to analyze on one file versus multiple file, or even the folder level. So that organization layer maybe looks silly on the bottom end, but when you combine this analysis and wanted to do across the folder or the multiple file, that's where we keep seeing the usage, organizing it, and again, then use the AI layer on top of that.
Beautiful. Okay, nice and succinct. We got the right month here this time. Let's jump right into it. I think one of the big parts of what's nice about technology is you can scale that across borders internationally, but you never really are prepared for how far reaching this can actually go. And so I think we're at over 150 countries who are using Speak. And what we noticed was there was a lot of people who, for example, are Italian speakers, they're German, they're Portuguese. And in this top corner here, you can see some of the languages. Now, what does this actually do? If you're in the platform, you can select this, but what's nice is it will automatically understand your browser language and serve the Speak platform in that language. And what that is, generally what the goal there is, how can we make a better product, a better user experience for people so that they can operate in their native language, interact with the platform, understand it better, and overall just generate a better product experience. If you are using your browser in one language and then you want to switch over, very simple to do. You can see a little top bar icon, the global icon, hit the drop down, and then switch into the language that you're doing. 9 languages to date. Vatsal maybe we'll touch on some of the ways that this was achieved that you might find interesting. We will continue to add more languages. And as we see more and more usage from different countries or different languages, I know very consistently, we'll do our best to translate that and make sure the platform is up to date so you can get that great product experience.
So for these languages, it is, I would say, very useful for the end user, but I'll just speak a couple of minutes from the technical landscape, which is a very manual process because you need to make sure every label and the buttons do get translated. And by default, we have built the entire platform for English users. Of course, we are in Canada, so the English was the first language, but we have even seen in Canada, it's English and French. Can we access the platform in French and so on? And what a couple of things you already touch upon, which is internal people using from the different countries and stuff, which does support that. it took quite a bit of time to implement that, going on every single page, managing every button, labels. And another thing, which is if we change anything, if we add anything, we need to make sure we support and change in all 9 languages. So it's sometimes maybe the redundant processes, but at the end, if the user gets the value, that's what you are working for them.
Exactly. Simple overall, but just to walk actually into the platform, you can hit this little global icon. Say I want to go to French. You'll see everything change. If I want to switch back, ready to go. So super simple, clean. We'll add more languages. If you love using Speak and you're saying, hey, come on, give it to me in my language, shoot us a message and let us know. And there is also some great default translation capabilities within browsers themselves these days. So you can always lean on that, but we really wanted to be more native with that support. 63 more translation pages. So I'm going to jump into the next slide. Now, this is not to be confused with the last one, which is, okay, there's platform language. As you're navigating through the Speak platform, what languages can it be in? So we talked about some of the languages there. This is actually an addition to our previous release on AI translation. As an example, see a ton of research firms or companies gathering feedback from customers all across the world. And really, a lot of times they maybe want to standardize or normalize that language. Maybe they've got French, they've got some Mandarin, they've got some Portuguese. They want to push that all to English and then run analysis on that. So translation, been a very long time popular request for us. We added that into the platform. We've already seen great usage from it. We've got some customers using translation, and we expect this to continue to grow. And one of the requests, or one of the things we've seen, is there's a lot of languages that were generally underserved in the market, and in a nice UI platform that sort of ties all these capabilities together. So we added 63 more languages to Speak in the month. Brings us to over 130, which is pretty crazy. And then I'll pass it over to Vatsal if he has anything to see. I did update this table on what languages do we support. Now, the table is getting a little wide, so I got to figure out what to do, but you can see the number, the language, still have a little bit to do on the language code, and then basically how is it supported. So transcription, you can see yes, if it runs sentiment, if it runs keyword extraction, all of that. But then on this far corner here, you can see translation, and if that is possible within the platform, you can see the yes there. So that language list continues to get pretty significant. I think we might cap it for now as we continue to see the usage, but that's anything else that you're thinking on the translation. I know it wasn't so simple to get all of this live, and there's lots more coming here, but anything you want to add on the translation side?
I think so. The table you just display, which is the combination of the language code across the transcription and translation. So let's say if you are using with the APIs or any integration with Speak, you still utilize with the same language code. Whereas if you try to use the different platform, you need to utilize their own language code, which are again different from the transcription and the translation. Just speaking from the ease of the use, either you use from the front end, which right away translate your file into the selected language. So in terms of the process, what we have built and achieved through is the consistent across. If you want to do either the professional transcription for your file to get the better accuracy, or the translation, which provides you the consistent same workflow at the end of the day, which is very crucial for the end user. And we'll touch last one thing, which is right now it is creating as a separate text node, which you might go in a demo in a minute here. But at the end, the goal is to create the same media file. So the reason is that you can play around with that file with the same experience you are having in that original file you have transcribed to. So we can go ahead if you are going to share more something.
No, I think it's a great point. This is the first layer of translation, and the more you use this, the more incentive this has for us to continue this growth and iteration on it. You can see in this screenshot, there's a little model that allows you to do that translation. Just to walk through a quick demo of that, and we have gone over this in previous videos, but that's okay. Let's do it again here. We'll take this, and you can see very simple text note. This was an Amazon review. This one seems pretty good. Yeah, I'll take it, but I can hit translate. You've got the entire list of languages here. So say I have no idea what this is going to look like in the end in terms of this language, but confirm and pay. I can hit that through. You can now see the translation history on here. It's processing. You can create a new job in that moment. And if you want, you can view the file and you can see that it's ready to go. How do you know that it is the right file? You can see a little addendum on the name here, and you can also see the language on that end state there. So super exciting. I think We have seen people using, even in this AI chat, the translation. However, without getting too deep into it, whether it's too many characters or other certain limitations, the AI, specifically through the chat, can have some limitations. And that's why we've built a separate model for translation. And it's why maybe if you're looking at some of these platforms that are AI chat and all of those things, it can be good. They can very powerful translation, but it might not accomplish the full flow that you're looking for. And again, why we built this separate model to allow you to do this successfully, store the data, and be able to do a lot more with it once it's actually ready. That's anything else you want to jump on here for the translation stuff?
Just, I would actually label this feature as a micro app. I just learned through something which is a micro app within the platform who does the one thing for you, which is complete your workflow. So again, that is connected to creating the translation in 10 languages and share as a report, or to generate the player, or anything what we are seeing in the usage you could achieve with the same flow. So it's a multiple micro apps within the platform, I would label as.
Yeah, not to plant any ideas or push any product development on it, but maybe at some point we drop this into an automation. Instead of the action being a chat, it becomes a translation. So you can just dump a bunch of files in and queue up those translations, have them ready to go by the time you even get into the platform and look at the files there. So lots more on this automation layer, but I think that's a great way to describe it. And although there's these big overarching use cases in AI here right now, what we're finding are people are looking at these very practical day-to-day use cases like translation. And that's why we've been focused on this a little bit over the last couple of months and continue to add these languages and make that experience better. So thank you for highlighting that. Jump into the next iteration of this Google Drive integration. I'm not going to spoil it, Vatsal. I'll let you walk through this one. I know there was a lot of behind the scenes, and this has been a long time coming for this integration.
Yep. People used to use with the Zapier integration. It seems like you already have the link there. So Zapier integration, again, you connect your Google account and send the file to Speak. Problems. The problems are you have the file which is not shared. It's private. You don't want to share at all because it might contain any sensitive information, which is we are seeing the problem with the connecting Zapier to Speak. And hey, why do you need to build an integration where you have Zapier or any APIs? The reason is that it allows us to fetch your private files securely between system to system. So you do not lose any security layer there. You don't need to worry about any Zapier cost, which runs on every single Zaps. And just in case if you have, let's say, 500 or 1,000 files sitting on Google Drive, system now, the configuration and the system we have built allow us to fetch the entire folder without you worrying maybe running 500 zaps or doing manually download and uploads, which our user used to do because that was the only option there. It's going into the new integration UI, which we are working upon, which might release in the next month, which is about allowing you to connect multiple integrations along with the Google Drive. So it's very simple. Connect your Google Drive account and your job is done. What that allow us to give and system level access to fetch the files directly within the Speak, and it will be less than, I would say, around seconds, maybe milliseconds. As soon as the connection is done, we can fetch the file. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think just to clarify this, there's a couple iterations of this happening, and make sure that I'm getting this right. But this first one allows us to authorize this Google Drive, but primarily what we were seeing is people trying to grab files and pass through Zapier, but because of Google's privacy settings and the way they structure URLs and things, that authorization was required to be able to successfully download these files. Connect to Google Drive. If you're using Zapier at all, it will allow you to then use this download URL, which was one of the options that Zapier gives you, and you will successfully get that file, whereas in the past, it had failed. Yeah, so that's the version 1. I saw a little tease from Sai. Can't share it here today, but basically with that authorization, you can now take any URL from Google Drive and automatically populate that into Speak. So that's the next iteration. And then I think going back to that automation layer, one of the things that's really nice, as you talked about Zapier, was you can listen. So every time a new file is added to that folder, you can automatically ingest it. That will be the next, maybe the third iteration of this with Google Drive. Is that right? Am I got that right?
Correct. Yes, that's absolutely correct.
And I know a bunch of people, this has been an ongoing thing for a long time. So super excited to see this resolved. And I know we've got some users and customers who are going to be super happy with this release. And so if you're watching this right now, we're very glad to be able to share that with you.
Yep.
That's all. Anything else on the Google Drive integration?
I think kudos to Sai. We have seen requests coming in a lot. There's always a trigger which takes you in and you complete the workflow. I appreciate Sai for working with the real drive integration here.
Yes, good job, Sai. And then just not too much of a demo here, but just to show you how to get it. You go into your profile overview, you can see manage accounts, and you can hit connect to Google Drive. Now, I'm not going to do it on this exact demo here now. Literally pop up, authorize, and you'll see that you're synced and you're good to go. And then everything else will work nicely for you. So beautiful, very nice, clean. Let's move into, it's jumping me ahead to slides here, but I think this was one really important one. Now it seems a little maybe minor, but we have, people, users, customers all over the world right now. And one of the things that people have seen is that obviously you can create a subscription, and creating a subscription, we use Stripe as a processing platform for all our payments. Very good system, helps with security, all of this stuff. But when people were actually adding balance to speak, it was classified as a payment within Stripe. And what we were finding was it would only generate a receipt. It wouldn't really create a proper invoice for people. So especially in Europe, but legitimate concerns around, hey, I need to have this ID or this details on this invoice for me to get reimbursed as a business, or this to be valid for tax authorities. This was something that we heard over and over again. Stripe didn't necessarily have a solution for us. And so we went ahead and we built our own. So you can now add your company tax or other details required in your payment information, and that will create the invoice that is downloadable for you. What's nice is if you make changes, the invoices will be updated to reflect those changes as well too, in case you need to add anything else. And again, that last point, this is both for subscriptions and also for balances. So a huge gap for sort of reimbursement that has been covered up. Very happy to see this go live, because I've dealt with a lot of people on live chat saying, hey, come on, Tyler, I need a real invoice here. And now we can deliver it. That's the only thing that you want to add on the
one information is missing will be allowing the taxation information, which is GST, HST, and the VAT number in the case for the Euro companies. That basically help you to include GST and VAT number and other information to include on the screen, which will be a one-line description below your company details. So that basically help you to ingest that information right from there. I think you already touched upon when you update this information, when you go to the invoices tab, it will automatically update for you on even all the old invoices at the same time.
Exactly. And you speak, we're very lucky when you build a platform yourself, you don't have to add a credit card. You can add the tax number. And if there's any other information you want to include, it's there, and your invoices would actually appear here. That's what you can see in this screenshot on the right, what that would actually look like. So very happy to make that addition to the platform and just allow, whether you're a business or you're an individual trying to ensure you're getting proper invoices, that you're all good to go on that side. So very happy about that. Now we jump into, I think, quick rapid fire here now, other product updates. One part that is here is a new security center. So I think anytime, as AI emerges, it continues to grow. A lot of people are uploading a ton of information, or maybe even if it's a small amount of information, it could be relatively sensitive. And so we've really done a lot of work. I would say shout out to Aria for an incredible sort of journey of resilience, not only putting some of these policies together, but also ensuring that they're accurate, ensuring that they're in line with what we're doing as a team here. And so now you have an entire security and privacy center within our help documentation that you can visit if you have any questions. We continue to evolve this. We know how important this is. So if you have any questions or other things that you think should be in here, let us know. We're very open to feedback, and we're continuing to do work on our side to make sure we're meeting the standards that are required for the type of valuable data and important operation work that companies and people are doing. That's the only thing on the security part that you want to jump into. I know this has been a journey for all of us here as we work through the system.
Yeah, I think that will be the ongoing changes if there's any policy update is required.
Yes. A couple other notes one of the big pieces that we had talked about in previous months has been this idea of custom fields within Speak, allowing you to do theme analysis, allowing you to create demographic profiles of the data so you can filter and organize. That is now available in Speak. Basically, the ability to search, sort, and filter in that. So I'll just jump into that quickly just so we can actually see what that looks like. Say I go into here and I've got some columns, exploratory classification, and then I know, actually, I think that should be good. We can see that there are a couple ones that are populated here. And if I go down, you can see now all the custom fields are actually populating. So this wasn't here before, and now is. I can hit exploratory classification, and I can see, for example, durability is in it. And if durability is in any of those fields, it will filter down and do that. So if you want to rerun that analysis, if you want to export this data, all of that is now good to go. I will add one other part while I'm here. I'm jumping a point ahead, but I can now hit more. I can export that data and say I do this to a CSV. What's really nice is the whether, oh, sorry, one second. So media details, right? I can click media details, and this will actually contain all the custom fields in that data. So I'll actually export this just so we have a little sample, and I'll pull that up. Why is this valuable? Like, why is this important? We're seeing people do things like theme classification or what issues are emerging in calls. All of a sudden, you can pull this into a CSV and you can quantify this. You can analyze this at a deeper level. So very valuable functionality and export that really opens up an incredible application of AI in a more sort of fine-tuned, in a way that you can reference the exact data and how it arrived at that conclusion, and then again layer this quantification on top, so you can really get more quantitative, provable insights from the analysis work that you're doing there. Anything you want to add here, Vatsal?
It's also one thing, let's say for the theme, you search for the durability, but if you just remove the word and enter, that is also another thing which will return all the blank responses where it has not maybe analyzed, maybe missing some data, and so on and so forth. So that is also another piece which is useful now.
Okay, thank you for that. The Easter egg in there, I knew that, but I did not know that. So glad to see that point out. I encourage you, let's go through these next two pieces here. I'll pull up some stuff on the screen while you're walking through and make sure that there's some visual references there. So I think the first one was the automation.
Part of the automation, where the problem was like when you run the automation, the title of the prompt, what does that indicate is when you receive the responses, many times that is being triggered through any integration layer that is being displayed on when you share the entire library for someone to read. But when someone reads the answer, maybe summary, and so on and so forth, they miss the context of what is exactly this has been, using the Speak chat. So that indicates that the title, you can assign it here, and every time it runs an automation, that will be assigned to as a title of that prompt. And now you assign one time, and moving forward, let's say meeting summary and action item, you can put down a very specific title so that when someone reads that, they can review it properly. And how can you visualize, or where can you see that? If you go to the chat history if you're seeing the visual screen, it's basically available on the chat history. Loader looks nice. It's available on the here. You click one of the one, and you can review, let's say, key items. If it is your title, you can actually review that is being assigned, where your prompt is something different, talk about the overall unresolved issue. So that is one. Second, I think we already touched upon, but you also can edit your title for the chat if you want to do it or not happy with. So that is also another thing, is manageable within the platform as well. And so once you, let's say, edit the title on your own, the system will also automatically detect, let's go to the please review any of that prompt, which is indicating that from your prompt, that will take the first 50 character from the prompt and will ingest as a title for you, so that you can understand what the context is all about. And maybe at some point might auto-generate the title, but I think the value has been already created by allowing you to edit the title And through the automation, you can assign your own title if you are running at scale. So both the way it works, I think that's all about the automation title.
I think we moved through here pretty quick. We got the export, two other pieces. So if you have a bunch of folders, which we are starting to see people have more and more folders, we've added a little search functionality directly in that. So you can see it and call up. So if I see Spotify here, let's do it. You can do this. Now, again, might not look too impressive when I've got 5 files here, so it's not too big of a deal, but we have people with hundreds and hundreds of folders. For them to be able to quickly navigate and find that makes a lot of sense. And there's one other area now, a couple meetings in here, so I can see demo. I can hit demo, and that will actually pop up too. So just trying to make the platform more searchable. We're continuing to see a lot of data flow through, and a lot of people care about the organization and recalling of that information. And so trying to add these little life improvement capabilities to make that experience better for you and make sure that you're getting the efficiency that you've always come to expect from Speak and the Speak AI team here. Anything to add there, Vatsal?
Last thing, even with the meeting assistant, which display the list of the meetings which the assistant will join. But let's say if you want to see your old events through your calendar, let's say if you go from the managed calendar to Google Calendar, if it is connected, I'm not sure, but yeah, it doesn't fetch any events. But the point here is that you also can search by the title of any of your events if they exist. What does that makes you to do is to easily to searchify if any futuristic event you're looking to see and ensure it doesn't join or it join, vice versa. So that helps you to exclude and include those events, whereas it might come at some point and the meeting assistant setting automatically for you.
Yeah, and we are, this is a demo account, so we had some previous meetings there, but this is our demo. If you've ever jumped on a call with Arya or myself or Vatsal, this is probably the account that you've walked through before. So I think we just had one other piece here, which was for a long time, we've had YouTube uploaded, for a long time, we've had YouTube as a crucial part of the platform and people uploading YouTube, but there were so many different variations of the YouTube URL. And so in some cases it was successful, other cases it was not. We made sure now basically every variation of YouTube is now ingestible by Speak. So all the different places that you can share and grab the YouTube self-promotion of myself, well, I'm in it, I can drop it, will work. There's a short URL that you can see that comes from YouTube. All of those are now ready to go and should be successful on that upload. That's anything else to add here on the YouTube side?
No, all good. I think if it is a mobile URL, it's youtube.com. Sometimes it's u.de or something like that, which also now happens to work with the ID of your file, basically.
Awesome. And so we're coming to an end on that. It's been another good month, and I think we're excited for what we've got to show you here at the end of June, which is going to come faster than sometimes hard to imagine. So let's take a quick look at what's coming next, and then we'll wrap this baby up. So Vatsal, you want to talk about what's coming next? I think you're seeing the pipeline even closer than myself here.
So the first one you got is the UI/UX for folder and individual media file. We have started a couple of weeks back to work upon how can we make it more accessible. If you're familiar with the individual media insight page, the problem is that it's hidden into the multiple tabs. So you need to either switch over, sometimes you miss if that exists, the export options and so on. So those options are missing many times. Second, a lot of things we have put down under the more, because hey, you cannot put 15 buttons on the top, which is of course the usual thing. So the improvement will why it is important for you if you're listening and going to experience this change, because it makes us streamline your experience through, again, the navigation panel that helps you to manage, focus, and work through on Speak with more ease and accessibility. Another thing we have think through while making this change.
To find a little teaser here in our Slack channel somewhere. I'm going to pull this on the screen just to get the core. This will be our disclaimer. That's not exactly the end state, but just to give you a little screenshot and rationale of what Vatsal's talking about. You can see in this that everything's actually been pushed from a spot over here over to this nice sidebar. So the goal is really to make it feel like a more dedicated space for you, especially once you jump into a folder or a file. And we know that this is often becoming a very dedicated area to focus, to do work. And so we're going to try to remove those distractions and all that other periphery information so that you are deep within the workflow that you want to be. So some things will change here, but there's a general flow and understanding of what that looks like. And I think some great options, as Vatsal said, where we can add these little micro functions or value without crowding everything and giving you a little bit more space to operate there. Yeah, super excited about that. I'll let you jump right into this next part about speaker management and transcript editing.
If you have, when you share a screen, there's a little bit of nugget about a new UI with the speaker and the transcription editing. The reason with that is from all the feedback, we have seen that, hey, help us to improve the transcription editing experience better. And also you mentioned in the beginning that why it is crucial and important as even to have this transcription editing done, maybe the speaker management being labeled properly, so that when you feed to understand more, either with a large language model or even with the speak chat, you can have the more accurate responses out of it, even with these references. That we are trying to allow you to manage, edit the transcription right from that interface. Right now, if you have experience, you are going to the another page, allow you to have this transcription. So it's the another UI, you need to change the timestamp, assign the speaker, and more, which will allow you to do within that same interface. So I think that's more around that. And another issue with the speaker management specifically, let's say with the meeting assistant, we do get the speaker labels from the meetings, but many times it might be overwritten, not being labeled properly due to the some logical issue from the meeting. In that case, you need to go through a lot of pieces to update the speaker in this original transcription. So the question is there a one-click event where I change the speaker name and it update everywhere? So that's the problem statement we are working on.
I'm going to keep you rolling into the new integration portal here at Vatsal.
Again, this is the demo account, so you might be seeing some random data over there. About the new integration portal, the benefits you are getting is you can see how many your integrations are connected, how many are inbuilt, which are native integration from Speak, and allowing you to manage right from this interface. We had a similar interface, but it doesn't justify with is this the native or is it connected with the Zapier. So we distributed between the Zapier and our own integration. You might see a bit of nudge there, which is Slack, Salesforce, and a couple more, which are being taken care under the development, which is going to the native integration for you to manage either pull or push the data to the system, which is a very crucial part, actually, believe nowadays, because the data is distributed across all the system and you wanted to manage with ease to just pull to the Speak or maybe push the analysis outside the system. And especially we are seeing with the CRM system or maybe even with the Slack to nudge about when the transcription is ready or maybe the summary is ready. Anything you want to add there around?
No, I think this is, again, a great sort of life improvement here, and just also simplicity and understanding where you are in the integration layer. And I think generally we've seen companies and teams and individuals, when they are successful, often they have integrated their systems very nicely, whereas sometimes we don't see as much success when that doesn't happen and can't pull from the system that they want to and they can't push to the system. So we're continuing to work on that, solve that flow. And, you know, as you said, data fragmented everywhere across the world and all these different systems, the more we can, smooth that all together and sync that all together, the better it is for everyone. So big part of the journey and very happy to be making some progress. There's two other points Vatsal touched on, the Slack integration and then just increasing the speed of chat. Obviously, I think this is a super important one, just the interaction layer and really for, success in production environments for you as teams or individuals, you want quick return on that. But I think all of the stuff we talked about, all people really care about in the end is dark mode or light mode. I think that's all that really matters in the world. So a little teaser on that. I said, hey, Vatsal, let's push this. He said, not quite yet, Tyler. I still got some stuff to do, but a little screenshot. You will be able to toggle into night mode within Speak. And Vatsal took this on as a little bit of a fun side project to keep his mind stimulated while he worked through some of the bigger problems that we're on. Vatsal, anything you want to touch on?
In a better way, because I needed something to offload my mind. And like even while working late evening, late night, it's difficult because you need to keep the UI on, even if you're working on the server or anything like that. It's quite bright. Every single tab on my laptop, desktop is and a night mode where the application I'm working is giving me the dark white color. So I think what the point here is, even when the users are reading through the transcription, it puts so much efforts on their eyes and so on. When we see the usage time duration, that's maybe another reason why most people use it at the day. And it's a kind of balance. Sometimes many people, even in my editor experience, use the dark mode. So it's necessary nowadays for end users.
Yep, I agree. I think it's a great option. And so that will go live, and we're excited to share that with you. Just a little fun at the end of this session here. So it really does bring us to the end of What's New in Speak, the June edition. Ari has been on a tear lately. He's been on so many calls, but he's still a great person to talk to if you want to talk to him, or even if he's not available, Vatsal and I will be there to help you out. Book a personalized demo. We've got a link here. You can find some time. We're always here, happy to help. And we're just generally trying to set people up for success. If you're looking for a solution and we're a good fit, we're here. If we don't think we're a good fit, we'll try to give you some tips and send you at least in the right direction. You can actually build your own plan, personalize it exactly to your needs, and you're not locked into these very structured, static plans. And so you can jump into the pricing page. You can customize it completely to your needs. And if you ever want to upgrade, downgrade, whatever you want to do, add more team members, very simple to do directly within the platform. And then lastly, earn money every month. We continue to see the affiliate program join over 2,000 people today. We've got a bunch of more people in AI tools directories on some of the best affiliate programs. If you're looking up those online, you'll see Speak, because we've had success. People are getting paid, and generally people love the platform here at Speak too. So it's a win for everyone. And that's a wrap for June 2024. That's only closing words here before we close this out.
All good. I think there's more to come next month, so excited for that. And thank you for watching the session. And if you find anything interesting, if you want to reach out, I think Tyler mentioned, feel free to send us a message at any time.
Beautiful. And I think even Tasia in the background here is trying to escape now. So I think that's our time to go. Again, thank you to everyone for checking this out. Thank you for giving us the inspiration and motivation to continue working on Speak and improving this for you every day. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you next month. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.